Welcome to Wednesdays, weird, wild, wacky, wonderful, obscure Wednesdays. WeWe is meme upside down, so that's where the name comes from. Wednesday is obviously the day of the week, which we never seem to record on, but oh well. That's what we aim for, but it never comes to it. But anyway, we're going to start off with something fancy. This is from ladbible, the fanciest place on the internet. This story is entitled, Man Pleads Guilty to Having Sex with Chickens While Wife Filmed It. A man has pled guilty to having sex with chickens while his wife filmed it. Rian Baig, 37. Sorry if I mispronounced your name there, sir. Clearly you're an esteemed gentleman who I should know how to pronounce your name, but unfortunately I don't. Anyway, he appeared in Bradford Crown Court alongside his wife, Halima, also 37, on Friday the 31st of July. Imagine having this story next to your name forever. One, that's not a very common name, so it's not like you can say, well, there's hundreds of other Raheen Baigs out there. I mean, I don't think there is, but there could be. But in any event, when people Google you, like, let's say you go for a job interview, and they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, if I was interviewing someone, I'd almost be, like, tempted to jump in with, will you be fucking a chicken still? Anyway, he, at the hearing, Mr. Baig pleaded guilty to a total of 11 charges, including 3 of performing an act of penetration on chickens. What a very classy way of stating that the guy fucked a chicken. His wife had previously admitted to 3 charges of aiding and abetting intercourse with an animal. Prosecutor Abigail Langford told Judge Jonathan Gibson, Mrs. Baig accepts filming her husband, Rian Baig, having sexual intercourse with a chicken. Now, this brings to the table, like, imagine having to have that conversation with your wife, like, bringing up this topic. Like, imagine going home tonight and sitting at a dinner table, having a nice, lovely feed with your wife. Maybe you're eating KFC. You're eating your KFC, you're digging into that chicken, and you have to say to your wife, hey babe, you no longer do it for me, sexually, specifically. Your buying of KFC is top quality, but the sex isn't quite up to it. So, would you mind, how do I say this, filming me fuck a chicken? Or something like that? I mean, it's almost worth making a video of just, like, your wife's reaction to if you did come home and ask for that, just to see what the fuck she would say. I mean, and, like, it's not one thing to fuck a chicken, but, like, why would you film it? It's amazing how fucking stupid people are these days when they commit crimes that they, like, film it. And, like, this isn't something you would post on social media and proudly send to friends, I would assume. So why the fuck would you film yourself fucking a chicken? Like, if you're even going to take the step to actually have sex with a chicken, why film it? And also, how does one even fuck a chicken? Like, chickens are so small. Like, even if you've got a tiny penis, like, how the fuck are you getting it inside a chicken? I mean, I understand they lay eggs, but, like, surely there's some thing that happens with that. Like, Jesus. Anyway, you do you. Mr. Baig's solicitor advocate, Nick Leadbetter, he should probably lead better, leading people not to fuck chickens, in my opinion, said his client had accepted that he had committed the vile sexual acts. So he accepted that he did, when he clearly knows he did. Like, okay. Anyway, but was unable to say exactly when. That's right, he couldn't tell you when he fucked a chicken, he just fucked them. The court was told there would need to be inquiries about whether the 3 acts were carried out on the same day or over separate days, as this may impact his sentencing. which is a really weird nuance in this case and in the law in general, that like if you fuck a chicken on separate days, it's more of a crime than having a sex orgy with multiple chickens on one day. Like I mean, I understand that laws have to be written for like general circumstances, but surely like just having sex with multiple chickens, regardless of what day it is, would probably be, I don't know, the same issue. Both defendants assert it was sexual intercourse which took place on one day with these animals, and it was filmed on one day. And again, this is such a weird point to be making. Like, again, I wonder, going back to the job interview scenario, I wonder if when you go for a job interview and they ask what comes up when they Googled you, if the job would decide to hire you if you said that, look, I did fuck a chicken, but it was only on one day, not multiple days. So that makes me perfect to be managing your personal finances. Well, anyway, moving on from that, this again comes from a ladbible. Mum shares beach hack for removing stubborn sand from your skin. A mum has shared her genius life hack for getting sand off yourself after you've been to the beach. It's a tale as old as time. You head off for a nice day out at the beach. Then after you get back, you have to take the car to the cleaners, or heaven forfend. I don't even know what that means, but I would say heaven forbid, but forfend. Never heard that fucking term anyway. Clean it yourself. I like to lick the sand off my car. Definitely, I mean, it's definitely a tale as old as time that prevents me from sleeping at night worrying about. Some say it's the real reason why the Las Vegas shooting we all forgot about happened. Trying to solve this tale specifically. What's more, everyone has to sit in the car on the way home with sand all over them. Well, one mother has taken to TikTok to share her secret, and it's a hell of a lot simpler than you think. All you've got to do is remember to bring a bottle of talcum powder with you each time. Well, I've discovered that semen works well for rejuvenating your skin and from getting too dry. So I bring a bottle of jizz to the beach, or I suck someone off, but don't swallow, and dribble it onto my skin. So that's my life hack. Again, we go from ladbible because it seems to be all I'm reading this week. The Time Person of the Year. This is from ladbible, and I think that we have found Time Person of the Year. Person tries putting banknotes in washing machine to remove coronavirus traces. Modern day hero, if you'd ask me. Over the past few months, we've been told to wash our hands and wipe down surfaces to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Now, that's all sound advice. However, one person in South Korea took the guidance to extreme lengths when they put their banknotes in a washing machine to remove any trace of deadly disease. Needless to say, it did not work, and not only did it not work, it also scorched their money, with the Bank of Korea saying the folly saw a considerable amount of dosh lost. The hapless individual, identified by their family name Yum, which I'm sure I butchered, but anyway, from Ansan City, again, perfect pronunciation if you ask me, near Seoul, put a bundle of 50,000 won, or $42 or 32 pounds for you English folk out there, notes into their washing machine, and many of them were badly damaged. But it's not all bad news. The person then contacted the Bank of Korea to check whether or not they could be exchanged for new bills, and they could, which is absurd. Like, how do you get to do that? Anyway, they were given new currency totaling around 23 million won, or 92k, or 14,000 pounds. The bank confirmed. They were able to exchange 507 of the 50,000 won bills in half its value. The rest was too damaged to be exchanged. If it was worth half the thing, why wouldn't it just be worth the full? But anyway, it came after one woman in Western China tried to save the banks a job by charring over 3,000 Chinese yuan RMB, or £365, $420. Sounds like someone got a little high. After cooking them in the microwave. Again, getting a little bit high on those Chinese banknotes. The woman who lives in Jiangsu province started to smell burning in less than a minute, realizing the money she was using to pay her bills was cooking. I mean, you would think that it'd be kind of obvious you're not supposed to microwave money, but in any event, according to TVBS, the notes were too charred to be used at all after the woman rushed to the bank. But it seems that after a member of staff at the bank spent an entire afternoon counting the cash, the lady was able to have her notes replaced. I feel like that they should learn, if you're going to microwave money, that you lose it. If you're going to microwave it, you either eat it or you accept that it's lost. There's no in between here, at least in my banking world. Now we're moving from ladbible to sports bible. The incredible moment, snooker player stuck his middle finger up at the white ball, which I'm sure we've all done and goes down quite well at the pub. Snooker player Kurt Mafflin stuck his middle finger at the white ball in frustration during his first round World Championship victory last night. Mafflin was looking for a maximum break in the 16th frame of his match with David Gilbert and completely lost his head at the positioning of the ball as he looked to take his next shot. He promptly flipped the bird at the table in what was quite a hilarious and unusual scene for viewers watching on Eurosport, and commentator Dominic Dale offered an apology. Dominic, what a pussy move. If anyone's offended by someone going like this at the white ball, I mean, they need to get a life. Even if you're a child, you should be watching that and laughing your ass off. And firstly, what kind of child would be watching fucking snooker on TV? If you are watching it, one, you need to get a better life, but two, don't be so offended. Jeebus. Okay, moving on. And if you want to see someone really get angry and pissed off at a pool table, come watch me, and I'm sure we can organise for you to never leave the house again. Moving on, we go on to Reddit now. Now, what's the worst sex ed advice you received at school? That's what was posted by someone, and it brought some amazing responses. So this is one from Ephemeral Burrito. I knew this genius at school from the football team who I once heard saying, yeah, so if you finish inside a girl, try your hardest to pee in her, the acidity of pee will kill the sperm. Fortunately, we were in anatomy class and teacher heard it too. She gave us a quick and actual sex ed class right there and then. I remember an abstinence so yeah. If you don't want to get pregnant, pee in them. It also makes it taste better when you go down afterwards. So I've heard. I remember an abstinence lecture. This is from username Team Defeat. I remember an abstinence lecture. They said, girls, your virginity is like a handkerchief. If you let some boy sneeze in it, do you think anyone else would want to use it? I wish I was making this up. Well, it would be kind of awkward in the time of Corona to be a handkerchief if your virginity was your handkerchief, because I'm assuming people sneeze in them more. That went nowhere and was stupid and should be cut out, but I won't. So, suck my dick. Sneeze on my virginity. The big joke in my school. This is from user Maison Dal. The big joke at my school was we had a guy come in to teach us about sexually transmitted infections/diseases. In brackets, I forget if it was pre/post the shift to calling them STIs. That's right. How dare they take away our STDs? Still fucking STDs to me, not STIs. He had an anonymous Q/. Imagine I was actually breaking down crying over that. That would be amazing. If I was a better actor, I probably would have cried properly. But anyway, my life will go on even though they changed it from STDs to STIs. And I just can't continue. Give me an Oscar now. Anyway, he had an anonymous Q/A session where you wrote on slips of paper your question, and it was put in a box which he drew at random. Most of the questions were fairly standard, with a couple of small jokes that he fielded well. But then he drew one that asked if there were any diseases the person could get from sex with their dog. This was actually my school, so I hate to be the one that comes out and says it, but I was the one who asked this. Anyway, everyone erupted into laughter over this, and when the teachers managed to get us to calm down, what he said was worse. He basically told us that the only known STIs you could get from a dog gave flu-like symptoms, and given that you couldn't get pregnant from it, he fully recommended you do this instead of being with your significant other. There was no recovering from our reaction at that point. I feel like I missed out on my childhood because we never had a teacher that encouraged us to have sex with a dog. Imagine if that was how coronavirus started. Someone actually, this was true, and that flu-like symptoms he's talking about is coronavirus, and it actually came from having sex with a dog. And the reason why there are mysterious cases out there where people can't track is because people are having sex with their dogs and they don't want to admit it. And that's how community transmission for people that can't be traced happens. And that's how it pops up in countries where no one with coronavirus previously had it. I mean, coincidence? Probably. The number pi, this username. The STD talk during my middle school's health class comprised of a vague video showing a paintbrush dipping into various paints, one after another, until there was a messy smear of colours everywhere. The advice was verbatim: girls don't let other people's paint get anywhere near you. Art class afterwards was real fun though. I've splashed about a bit of paint myself. Like, not metaphorically, literally. Username ABEF. My school did this with Skittles. They gave each person a bunch of Skittles of one colour. Then you were supposed to shake hands with other kids and swap one Skittle when you did, so you end up with Skittles of various colours. Then at the end they said handshaking was sex and the Skittles were STDs. Yellow is HIV, red is gonorrhea, etc. They gave each disease a Skittle. Look how many STDs you have after having sex 5 times. Then we all ate the Skittles. Not sure where that fit into the mediocre analogy. That fits in the fact that when you eat food, you're eating STDs. What suppity? It was unsolicited sex advice from a psych TA, teacher's assistant, I guess. Don't go into dark alleys because you will end up having sex in there. With who? No freaking idea. Maybe the weird alley sex goblins. Maybe with yourself. Maybe this psych teacher's assistant had a problem where every time they went into a dark alley they got so turned on that they had to masturbate, and you're judging them. You sick fuck. How dare you? Moving on. Username Wesley Patterson. When I was in middle school, an 8th grader told me that men have a set of sperm, so if I set number of sperm, so if I masturbated too much, I'd never have kids. I mean, it is what it is. Technically, that would be true because you would make a set amount over your lifetime, but still. I'm 24, and when I was a freshman in high school, my teacher legit told us that women can get pregnant by just sleeping naked next to a man. She told us of her best friend who, in quotes, never had sex but kissed and hugged a man naked and got pregnant. I mentioned my age because that kind of batshit crazy take on sex ed seemed outdated to us and was relatively recent. Well, I hate to break it to your teacher, but, her friend's a bit of a whore and actually fucked the guy and just didn't want to admit it. Wrap it twice, just as nice, is what mail order bride, the username says. The condoms rub against one another and have a greater chance of breaking. One is fine. I have no idea what you're talking about. Roulette username says, what you do is put one on and then add hot sauce. Oh, sorry, this is in reply to the double condom guy. What you do is you put on one and then add hot sauce and then put on the other one. You will notice if one of them breaks. It also means that the top one, well, ideally it's kind of a game where like one partner is going to get punished and have a lot of pain and the other one won't. So if you break the top one, the woman will. If you break the bottom one, the guy will. It's kind of like a luggy dip to some degree. Our teacher told us all the different types of sex, oral, vaginal, anal, and some girl asked him if finger banging counted as sex. He said no, it doesn't. The girl then proudly proclaimed that she was still a virgin. That was grade 5, folks. This one's from Anati Deku. When I was homeschooled, my mom told me that masturbating caused cancer because you'd be too aggressive to your ball sack due to the motion. I feel bad for my father now. I mean, I feel bad for your father that you were homeschooled and he had to be around you more. You moaning little kid. Twizzler says, when I was young, I used to think if my jizz dripped into my butthole, I would get AIDS. So I would come in sandwich bags and throw them above my drop ceiling. I mean, I would just love to, 5 years later, there's 5 years worth of masturbation sandwich bags up there. And imagine the smell. Dear God, imagine you have cockroaches that somehow get into that and they become specialized jizz cockroaches that are flying around spitting jizz all over your room. I mean, hopefully my dreams will come true one day. This one's from Gord Monga. This isn't advice, but my sex ed teacher told us ejaculate is the whitest substance on earth. She was a relatively young teacher. I did argue with her, but she just told me to stop being difficult. I insisted she was wrong, but she said the textbook knew more than me. And then he says, but in brackets, but being a teenage boy at the time, I knew a thing or two about what ejaculate looks like. You, sir, should have got your dick out, jacked off, come all over the table, and then said, you tell me that that's whiter than the white on my textbook. This one's from Neil Renard. He says, or she says, or they say, I had a gym teacher say it's impossible to have sex with a woman if she didn't want to because the whole closes up if she doesn't want to. He went to jail for guess what? Well, Ferocious Reptile replied, tax fraud. Tassie Tiger guessed breaches of the Hunting and Fishing Act. The Skull Crusher guessed going to McDonald's and buying a Big Mac. Then someone came up to him and asked him if he was the guy who wanted the white gold. And since he was drunk, he said yes because it would be fun. He found a gun in the van of the guy who was selling it and shot the guy, and then drove his van to Florida where he robbed Walmarts for all the junior mints. And the last Walmart he robbed had a secret camera in the junior mint package, and he was arrested for tax evasion because he ate the camera, and then the stomach acids destroyed it, and the GPS locator inside of it. They never knew he was the infamous junior mint juggler. Now, that person didn't confirm that was the one, but I'm pretty sure that it was. Apparently there was a famous tape thing. So Lord of Pickle Land says, did anyone else get the tape thing? My teacher took 2 pieces of duct tape and stuck them to her sleeve. She would then peel them off and re-stick them to her sleeve, getting the back side of the tape more linty each time. She said that the pieces of tape were people, and every time she put them on her sleeve, it represented them having sex with a different person. Eventually, when she put them together, they didn't stick very well, and from all of the shirt fibers, and this meant they were so emotionally disconnected they couldn't form a lasting bond, so don't have sex or you'll be a broken shell of a person unable to love. Well, on that note, we're going to move on to our next story, the final story. This one was posted on Reddit in r/TIFU, so Today I Fucked Up. So this is entitled Today I Fucked Up. Actually, I'm not even going to read the title because you're going to find out what it is. This happened several years ago when I first moved to Japan. My Japanese skills were terrible, so I used Google Translate a lot while shopping. Anyway, I was looking for a quick snack and I saw a small bag that looked like rice crackers. It had a picture of cheese and fish on it, so I thought it was just a unique Japanese flavor. I used Picture Translate and it said something like a healthy cheese. Nothing about a cat at all, in brackets, well, nothing that translated that it is. So I bought it and loved it. I went back a few days later and bought 2 more packs. I ate 1 or 2 packs a week. Then one day my Japanese friend came over to watch a movie and I offered her a snack. She looked at the package and said, "Do you have a cat?" I said I didn't. It would have been a good opportunity to say, "No, but can I see your pussy?" But no, this user didn't. She began to explain that my favorite snack was meant for cats. I was surprised. I told her that they were so delicious. She began laughing so hard that she tried them and agreed that they tasted pretty good, but told me I could get sick if I kept eating them. Did I stop eating them? No, not right away, until I found a human alternative. I mean, being in Japan, you're pretty lucky that that's the type of food it was, cat food, because they have some pretty gnarly and disgusting sexual weird shit you can buy there. So yeah, pretty lucky that you didn't buy pussy juice or something, biscuits. I mean, lucky, unlucky, I don't know. In any event, that is a Wednesday for this week. Remember, it's meme upside down. We'll see you back next week.